Fight Coding University, training humans to train themselves. Welcome. Uh, we are adding structural books and into this week or section with flipbooks. Okay, remember flipbooks is where we're focusing on sort of seeing certain things and mentally or silently putting them together into a final picture. So flipbooks, mental work to look at a code and figure what that code means so that we can put it into a final picture. That's our goal, right? All right, now that's sort of a and then once we get it all put together, or pretty soon our subconscious takes over and boom, just happens. Okay, we just look at the code, know what it means. Look at the code, know what it means. Okay, and we know that just like with seeing is we see codes out in the world and we put the codes of an ear, a tail, a body, a paw, a long tongue or whatever together. We see a dog or whatever, right? All those codes we can put together, and we can see the codes for a dog, a cat, a tree, and stuff like that all at once. So our minds can see lots of codes and instantly put them together into a picture, and that's what we're going to be doing. But first we have to organize it, and that's what we're in the process of doing. So the flipbooks did what? Started the codes, giving us information. Now what we're going to do is organize that code into with the structural books. Again, just my wife's comment is, I told her, well, you got to look at one of the biggest things about Vicoding is you got to look at all the words at once. She says, well, I can already look at all the words at once. She says, but it just doesn't make sense. And that's because it's not organized yet, and that organization hasn't been taken over by your subconscious. So we're going to be doing that. So first thing we do is we're little pieces we're putting together. Okay, then we're structurally going to put it together with the structural books. Now, most things are written linearly, so we're first going to start putting together and start getting our minds to see multiple lines of code at once. Okay, now remember when we read verbally, we sort of go a couple words at a time, maybe one word at a time and sort of put it all together, maybe a 2 or 3 or 4, who knows. But we're going to start putting lines and lines together all at once. And not only are we putting lines and lines together, but we're going to be seeing different lines and putting them together at the same time. In other words, our mind can see that and do that. Okay, verbally it doesn't work that way, so we aren't trained that way. So we're going to go back to training like we see. Okay, and we see 3-dimensionally, we see multiple things at once, and our brain can put it together if we're trained to do it. So that's what we're going to do. So structurally, first thing we're going to do is just with letters. We're first going to with the capital letters, you're going to see lines and lines of capital letters, and you're going to first see 1 line at a time, then 2 lines at a time, then 3 lines, and 4 lines. And you'll be surprised how easy it is. Okay, then one of the things that you're going to be doing too is in your mind you're going to mentally string those lines out. So again, one of the things, first see the lines, but also string them together, so you just see this line, this line, this line all go together and string them out into lines. So it takes a little bit of mental effort, but go for it for that as well. Okay. Then we're going to go to fake words, right? This is a bunch of random letters put together in the right lengths to make words, but they're not really words. They're just random letters. Okay. So they don't make any sense at all, but it gives you the sense of words. Okay. So you can start to look at them and you can sort of sense that it's words. Okay, actually written material, written code. Okay, so you get this. You see 1 line, 2 line, 3 line, 4 line, etc. Again, stringing them together in long linear lines. And now we also want you to start, after you started stringing them together, is to start seeing those little pieces like we talked about in flipbooks coming together, right? Okay, where the adjectives and the of a noun and the is and different things in all the different things that we've done in flipbooks or will do in flipbooks, such to complete the language, and it creates a final picture. It's sort of like if we see a building's a building, right? But we can also see, it's a brick building. Oh, it has windows in it. Oh, it has doors. It has a flower, whatever thing on it. Also, who knows what you're going to see, but the key is you're going to start at a glance see a building, be able to see the windows, bricks, flowers, etc., whatever is involved in it. It isn't going to be something hard to do because you're going to train yourself to do it. So now all of a sudden that whole page of words no longer just looks like a page of letters and words. It makes sense. Okay, oh, there's a window. Oh, there's a word. So to start with, we're going to pretend we see those. So remember, play and pretend is a real important part here. You're in Flipbooks. You're actually putting together, silently putting together these codes into and getting to a final picture. Okay, and now you're going to pretend you see those codes in these fake words. Okay, because that's what your brain in the long run is going to do. It's going to see this page. It's going to put things together, and you got to sort of, just like children, practice with a little bit of play, like you can do it before you actually need to do it. And as you do that too, you're going to rehearse what it looks like and how they go together, because things go together in very repetitive ways, over and over again, the same way. And it's like, it's like a house. You've seen all sorts of crazy homes or houses or whatever, but they almost all have front doors. Okay, some have little weird doors on the side or something like that. Windows, a few windows here and there, and the whole point is that we've seen things before. We're going to see different shapes and objects, but we can recognize it. Our brain's that smart. Okay, so we can do that. Then we're going to go from fake words to fake words that are composed in sentences, because a sentence is a complete idea, right? And because sentence has a very solid structure. It either looks like this, subject, verb, object, or it's backwards for a question, or it has this. It's very standard. If we can see all these different animals and know the distinction, we can do a few little sentence variations and know what they mean and how to put them together. So we can do that, okay? And we can see multiple sentences at the same time, just like we can see a cat and a dog, or whatever. We can see multiple things at once, okay, just by looking at the code and knowing what it is. But you want to pretend you can see those things and practice seeing those things. So sentences, one unit thought. And remember, a sentence is a lot of times multiple lines. And so we're going to see, and it doesn't start at the beginning and end at the end. It starts in the middle. And so you're going to see one sentence, then you can see two sentences at a time, three sentences at a time, four sentences at a time. And you're going to start seeing those. Then we're going to break it into paragraphs, because paragraphs are a complete thought as well. We see sort of three sentences in a paragraph and think, oh, that's sort of like three words now, but we know what they mean, and now we know what the paragraph means. We see two paragraphs, and we go, oh, I know those two paragraphs mean. Oh, it makes all sense. And our brain just puts it together, little by little. But again, in the while we're looking at all these fake words, fake sentences, and fake paragraphs, we're going to be pretending we see things in them. And then when we actually go to the real words, you're going to be able to see those things much more quickly, because you already sort of got the search mechanism out there, the look for, the expectations about it, etc., etc. So pretend and play is going to be an important part of combining structural books and flip books together. Okay. By Coding University, training humans to train themselves.